Greetings, beloved. I want to thank you for being with us. Welcome to the People Power Podcast. We are here today to talk about all things data center, all things minus AI and data centers, beloved. We've got some special guests with us today. We've got Wanda Mosley, who is the campaign director, the national campaign director for the Black Voters Matter. And we've always got our co-host, Sister Lindsay Harper, who's with us. Lindsay, how we doing today?
I am doing well. I'm so glad to be here for yet another wonderful episode of the People's Power Podcast. Man, that music got me lit. I love it. It's good to be here.
Man, listen, that introduction, the way that that's put together, we've got to give shout out to our producer, Sharon Phillips, who is just remarkable. But she rocked that thing, man. It's got me so hyped. I'm ready to run around the room a little bit myself. But before I do all that, before I embarrass myself by doing any running, let me run straight to Sister Wanda Mosley. And thank you for being with us, Wanda. We are grateful to have you in the place with us to talk about all things data center and minus AI.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to be here with y'all. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
This is just us, talking and having a whole time to chop it up, to educate folks, to think about some things. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. Excited to be here.
So, Wanda, as well as the audience, I ain't gonna act like I don't know you. I'm not gonna act like we ain't never had conversations before, and we ain't never. This is a discussion amongst family, in particular, a discussion amongst Georgia family. And while I'm talking about Georgia, there's something very special that we need to talk about at the very beginning of this thing, y'all. Our Public Service Commission is having a vote right now. I listen, and listen close. Matter of fact, lean your head up against your speaker so I can talk directly in your ear. You need to vote because the Public Service Commission, whether you know it or not, controls how much money you spend on your bills,
That's
on
right.
your power bills, on your utilities. And if we be honest, they ain't been doing a real good job. The reason why we're having this conversation right now is because they've protected profit more than they protected people. They protected our polluters more than they protected our people. They've hurt the cosmos, the environment, the climate more than they've helped community. And so we want to make sure that you get out to vote. But there's also something else, Wanda. There's also something else, Lindsay, that we need to discuss because we had a whole lot of folks work real hard to get us to the Public Service Commission and also to highlight them to make sure we know just how important the Public Service Commission is. They had people to mobilize to show up to let the Public Service Commission know that we are looking, and then there was an incident that kind of overshadowed all that. And so while our hearts go out, and while we are very much um, leaning in, if to a certain extent with what has happened, please know that that has nothing to do with People's Justice Council. That has nothing to do with those people that mobilized to get us to the Public Service Commission. And the reality is, it's an injustice for that to overshadow the story of a successful mobilization that grabbed the attention of a whole lot of folk who knew nothing about the Public Service Commission to make them lean in and look to see what is really happening. I know I just expressed some of my feelings about that, but I would love to hear from Lindsay. I would love to hear from Wanda on not just that particular piece, but even just the Public Service Commission and getting us out to vote, especially the Public Service Commission and getting us out to vote. So I'm gonna start off with our guest today, Wanda, and then I'll go ahead and let Lindsay close us out on this particular topic.
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me. Listen, the energy that I am feeling across the state right now is like no other
election for Public Service Commission. People are frustrated, people are mad, but I think what's different this time around is people are educated. They understand the role that the Public Service Commission plays with our utility bills. People are more educated and know more about the relationship between the Public Service Commission and Georgia Power. So people are frustrated, people are angry, and people want justice, right? They want accountability. And we all know that this is nothing new. We've been harping and organizing and trying to push our Public Service Commission to do better. But this is the first time we've had them on the ballot since 2019 because of the lawsuit against the Secretary of State on how we vote for Public Service Commission. We have 5 seats. We have 5 districts drawn in the state of Georgia, and yet every person votes for every seat. So at this moment, in this time, we are telling everybody there are 2 seats, 2 opportunities, 2 votes on this ballot for everyone, no matter where you live, no matter what district you're in, it does not matter. Everyone votes for 2 seats. And I'll also say to you that, listen, the proliferation of data centers across our state, across the South, this is the biggest driver that I am seeing to get people out to vote in this Public Service Commission race. So let's go, y'all. Let's get it done.
No, and you're so right, Wanda. And I think that one of the things I'm really learning as someone who had to understand the value of voting growing up in the South, it was not always something that I felt really mattered. As I grew and learned more, I really understood how important it is for people to be counted. Oh my God. The folks who are elected really don't know as much as we give them credit for. And that's definitely something that I learned. So myself, you, any ratepayer has every right to share how their experience with paying their bills or not being able to pay their bills, or the difficulty of paying their bills, and communicating that with their vote, and also showing up at the Public Service Commission, whether it be at a hearing or also going just to visit your Public Service Commissioners, any one of them as individuals, to share your story. I think what's really interesting that I've learned, as so much of what goes on in Georgia is really about power. Okay, we've got a lot of strongholds. You have very strong strongholds in this state for a long time. And I actually read an article the other day, and I know this is a C3 conversation, so I'm going to speak to both sides. But I will say that there were some Republicans. We have a Republican trifecta here in the state, that the Public Service Commission race is an opportunity for Democrats to get their foot in the door. Now, that being said, it's really not about Republican and Democrat. It's about representation. And thus far, the public service commissioners that have been representing the state, as Wanda said, as Rev have said, have not done a good job. You listeners probably know someone who has really high power bills, or maybe had their power cut off during the pandemic. Maybe you know a senior who really, really struggles to pay their bills all the time, on a regular basis. Some of you may know a program that's supposed to be helpful that really doesn't necessarily help you pay your bill. Maybe it's on a sliding scale. Maybe it's like a fixed rate. But prices are going to go up anyway. When you think about the Public Service Commission, which has essentially allowed our monopoly energy company here in Georgia, Georgia Power, to charge customers for more dirty energy infrastructure like nuclear power plant Vogtle, we got gas, we've got coal. And what's really interesting, and again, thinking about power and control, and continuing to do bad things in community because it's profitable. These data centers, they're talking about, using more dirty energy to power these data centers. And this is on top of this nuclear power plant that they just built. This is supposed to be the end all be all. Well, if that's the case, then why are we still doing coal and why are we still doing gas? Those are just my thoughts. Dirty energy infrastructure that poisons communities, air, and water pays. And Southern Company and Georgia Power has been getting paid, and Public Service Commission has been helping.
Well, that's because the Public Service Commission been getting paid.
Well,
don't let it fool you. Shoot, let's be honest. Let's be real and talk about it the way it is. I just told y'all I'm talking to family, and we all from Georgia, and at least live in Georgia, and so y'all know what Georgia folk talk about. Let's shoot it straight. Public service been getting paid by these polluters and these profiteers, and so we as a result suffer. because of that.
Right.
If we be honest, the thing that we really need to do is get corporations out of our everyday lives and treat them like the businesses that they are. We
Yes.
don't treat small business the same as we do with corporations. It don't make no doggone sense. I had to say it that way to keep me from cussing. I'm trying my best, y'all.
Thank you.
But these pub service commissions, boy, ooh wee.
Yeah.
One of the things that with the Public Service Commission, as Wanda had alluded to earlier, is when we talk about data centers and AI, truth be told, they're like the last stop in the approval piece of it, because at the end of the day, if they say, no, we don't want your rates to increase, or our constituents' rates to increase, all projects have to stop. But the fact of the matter is, I just told you, them jokers getting paid. So when it comes down to it, the rates, the projects don't stop because the money hadn't stopped flowing. We need to lean in. The only thing that stops the money from flowing is community coming together and making choices. That right now, we've got a choice when it comes down to the Public Service Commission in Georgia. We've got a choice to put two people on the panel or on the commission, excuse me, that we know will fight for us. And so, because we are 501c3, I can't tell you who to vote for, but just know that there are some folks that we need to vote for and some folks we need to vote out. The ones that's sitting in the seat right now might not be the ones that we want in the seat. Let me put it that way. And so we need to get them gone. Now, I know we are People's Justice Council, arm in arm, is 501c3. Black voters matter, however, may be able to give us a whole different perspective on that. Wonder what you got.
Well, no, I'm going to stay nonpartisan as well because I like my black job, so I want to keep it. But I will share with you, and this is not my opinion. These are things that I read today. The very first thing I saw on Facebook today was interesting. It was from a rural county, one that is traditionally very red. I'm not going to name the county. I don't want to give too much information. But the person in this post said, well, this is it for me. These data centers are the thing that I'm voting on. And since these incumbents are the ones that are allowing them to come into our state, I'm going to hold my nose and vote for the two Democrats. I like to fell off my chair. And that sentiment has been echoed in rural county after rural county after rural county. Because, I think it's one thing when we think about the data centers coming to, more populated areas, urban areas, but don't play with them people in the rural areas. Don't play with their land. Don't play with their agriculture. Don't play with their livelihood, and don't play with their water. That rage hits a little bit different. So it's one thing when they come into the city where, we may have more distractions and may not necessarily be up on all the things that are happening, but you get out in the country, oh, you gonna catch it, because they're not playing with you in their land and their air, their homes, their livelihoods. So there's a lot of traction in counties where Black Voters Matter does not normally do GOTV work. But by social media, Facebook in particular, I'm seeing a lot of people who are stepping outside of their comfort zone. And this is where we need to be as people, as citizens of the world. We need to stop being so tied to a political party. And we need to look at each candidate, pair them up with the issues that are important to us, and then cast your vote accordingly. Because in this moment, as the gentleman said, he believes that these incumbents are the reason why all of these data centers are coming to our state. And so he is voting accordingly. And by the number of likes and remarks on that particular post, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very, very interesting. I shall get for tea and sip it.
I know that's right. I think what's really one of the things that I want to share with people that is my personal perspective, and speaking with my colleagues, y'all as well, is thinking about the impact of data centers and AI, like on the ground level, like on the day-to-day level. And I just want to ask folks, so like where you live, do you have like enough clean drinking water? Do you have enough water for irrigation? You may live in a rural place like Wanda mentioned. Like, is there enough water? Have the droughts impacted you in the past few years? You remember, I don't know if folks remember the Georgia, Florida, what was it, Georgia, Florida, Alabama water wars? Are people, is that sounding familiar? And thinking about, land. Are there people who could maybe have a better place to live or have more land and have a better living situation? If you know of people or places where some of these issues where land and water have been an issue, well, these data centers are going to drink up all your little water and take up all your little land. Okay. And at least in my perspective, there's not enough land and water for the people that are already here. Like, they don't allocate the water appropriately. It always goes to business. Georgia loves business. It's the best place to do business. They will damn everybody for some business, right? Well, they're going to damn your water too for business. And they're going to take up all that land, that blank field that no one's allowed in, that no one's using. No, we're going to put a data center in it. It's not going to benefit the community. It's going to take up space. It's going to take up land where they should be putting maybe affordable housing might be something. Maybe it could be a garden where people could eat, because food insecurity, right? But no, the thought is that these corporations have generated this idea. There's so much need for artificial intelligence. Everybody's got to have it. It's coming whether you want it or not. It's going to replace all the jobs. You're not going to be able to work. You better learn AI or you're going to be ass out. Sorry. Well, I'm not quite sure that that's true. And I would say that the incumbents of the Public Service Commission have bought into a lot of the corporate lies. They've probably benefited from a lot of the corporate lies. And as this particular constituent in this county that you mentioned, yeah, they are the reason that we're here and are having all these data centers, eating up all our land and water. And I know folks know there will be droughts. Okay, there will be continued issues with agriculture, because with agriculture and water, they go hand in hand. And there will come a time when our Public Service Commission and our elected officials, because they are paid so well by corporations and paid so well by Georgia Power and Southern Company, they will choose these companies eating up these resources over you and your family. So just know that that time is coming, and your number will come up. So.
Yeah. Can we spend a few moments talking about some of the myths about data centers and AI?
Yeah.
As I'm starting to engage with elected officials, this particular issue with the proliferation of data centers is one that touches every level of government, right? When we think about last year, our state legislature actually legislation that would have put a moratorium on data centers statewide, for a study committee to come forward and get some more information, but the governor vetoed it. So now here we are this year. Our state legislature had legislation, child, and then get out of committee, or however you describe it, that would have required the data centers to pay for the extra electricity on the grid. And yet I'm hearing from elected officials, community members, who are saying, well, we were told that, we didn't have to pay for the extra electricity. Y'all, you absolutely are who gonna pay it? The rich people, the millionaires and the billionaires? No, that's not what they do. They trample on working class people. We are going to have to pay for that. So there is so much misinformation, false information, and just straight up lies that people are hearing, that we have to, as community members, as nonprofits, as everyday folks, get out there and dispel all these lies and make sure people have accurate information. The other lie that I hear a lot is Georgia Power said our utility bills aren't going to go up. Lindsay.
We know that ain't true.
We know it ain't true. Explain it to the people.
Wanda, I was sitting at the Public Service Commission meeting in Georgia, and one of the brothers got up to talk about his rates going up. He said they've already gone up 6 times. They've already gone up 6 times. And they're expected to go up to double that. So he's looking at 12 rate increases.
And yet we have not had
12 rate increases.
We have not had one minimum wage increase.
Say that.
Not a nairing. Not a nairing. You hear me?
Yes.
Not a nair.
Now, wouldn't that be some insane legislation that said every time your utility rates go up, we got to raise the minimum wage in our state. Wouldn't that be some real progressive stuff?
That's
That
revolutionary.
would be some show enough progressive stuff.
No,
But again, corporations need the wages to be low
right,
so that they can make a record profit.
right. Can I jump in really quickly and just say one thing I learned from the last
Uh,
Southern Company shareholder?
Hold on, real quick, Lindsay. Let me
Oh, my
say
bad.
this real quick before
Oh,
you
you
do
got it.
that. You talked about the water usage and our clean water being used. Beloveds, listen to me. A whole Olympic-sized pool worth of water is being used every day to cool that data center. That's your drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
An Olympic-sized pool a day. How long you think you're gonna be able to dip into that before it goes out? Go ahead, Lindsay.
No, that's fact. And if I add on to that, but they're gonna arrest the water boys at the corner trying to sell water, right?
Oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Like, so y'all, please, I know, again, I want people to understand, just because people are elected, just because they have letters behind their name, just because they have money, don't mean they know what they're talking about. It just doesn't, okay? If you look at it and it don't make sense, it don't make sense. It's not much more complicated than that. It's just really that simple. And I just wanted to speak really quickly to this one stat that I learned that, Southern Company has essentially had either the same or increased profits for their shareholders for the past multiple decades, like over 50 years, like every single year. They have either maintained the same profit or they have been able to increase it. Y'all, there's no such thing as perpetual growth. I know that like our whole economy, like America and capitalism, well, every year it's going to go up. No, it's not. That's not the nature of life. Nowhere in any culture, indigenous culture, has anything grown every year. It's not true. Okay. So if you can imagine the amount of manipulation that has had to occur in order to maintain profits and grow every single year, I don't think so. It don't rain the same every year. The wind don't blow the same every year. The economy's different every year. So how you making money every year? The math ain't mathing. So that's all I want to say. That's it.
Nah, the math pretty good. We aren't paying attention. So they robbing us without a gun is what's happening.
Man.
So I mean, they build these data centers. They have to tie into the grid, so they have to upgrade the grid. Now, when I say they upgrade the grid, I'm leaning right on into Southern Company, beloveds. I'm leaning right on over into our Public Service Commission, because who pays for these upgrades? Who pays for that construction? We do. Just like we gonna pay for when the water go out. When the water go out and we are out there fighting others to get drinking water, who's gonna pay for that? We are.
Mm-hmm.
It all falls on us as the consumer. But there's a couple of things that we can do about it. I want to make sure that I hurry up and usher this in. By the way, I'm speaking to you all live from Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. And so my internet is not the best. And there's a whole lot of noise going on because they still doing construction because they 24 hours a day around here. But nevertheless, there's some stuff that we can do about it. The first thing you can do, vote. Vote, vote, vote. You got a choice. We have elected officials as our Public Service Commission. They're not appointed. We choose them.
Right.
So get out and vote. Learn about your public service commissioners, what they stand for. Understand that there's a lot of public service commissioners right now who are sitting in these seats, and we're experiencing this data center crisis because they've approved it. They've allowed for it to happen. The other thing that I want to bring up that we can do something about, understand, y'all, that AI and this demand for these data centers is all manufactured.
Thank you.
It's all manufactured. It's manufactured by the way that AI is pushed on us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into Google or you go into Yahoo or you just go in and do a search right now on using the search engines, it automatically gives you AI. You have a choice to opt out, but you got to find that choice.
Right.
You don't have a choice to opt in.
Hmm.
One of the demands that we want to have is that people have a choice whether they want to opt in to use AI or not. We're not saying that AI is so bad that you can't use AI, this, that, and the other. If you choose, hey, that's on you. If you choose to keep giving your water away, that's on you. However, you don't have to. And so, one of the other things that we can do, and one of the launches that we've had as the People's Justice Council, is minus AI. If you type in for your Google search and you put the minus sign and then AI, it will not use AI. It will not bring it up. That's a simple way. If you don't go in and permanently delete that, you come out of AI and look that up to figure out how to do it. The simple thing to do is when you use your data searches, just choose minus AI. And we would love, love, love for you to be able to put that, send that to us via the peoplesjusticecouncil.org website. Send us a picture or send us a list, or not a list, but a statement or even a video showing just how excited you are when you find out that you don't have to have AI and you don't have to give your water away and you don't have to have your bills to go up. You don't have to kill all your trees off by cutting them down and killing your green spaces. You don't have to do any of this. They can leave the land alone because you didn't ask for it. You don't need it. We were getting along fine without it. And it helps us even to be mentally healthy when we don't use AI, because AI gives you everything, inaccurate sometimes, but it gives you everything, and you don't have to put in any mental exercise, which causes us to decline because your mind is a muscle or your brain is a muscle. So we decline if we don't use it. And so this gives us an opportunity to really be able to utilize our voice for the things that we want versus the things that they want to give to us.
Right.
I'll pass it over to Lindsay now. Lindsay, what you got to say on it?
Yeah, so I definitely want to piggyback off of what you said, Rev, and just say that what we're talking about with this minus AI campaign is really like creating the receipts to show visually that no, not everybody's into AI. No, all these projections you all have come up with actually don't necessarily have the backing, that the companies would say. If people aren't using AI in the same amount the companies are saying is needed, like that's the conversation that we're looking to have. And so far there have been a lot of articles, whole teams have been fired because AI is going to answer the problem, and then they have to hire all those people back because no, AI can't do everything, right? So the idea is that we can create the receipts to show that, like, no, actually it's not that necessary, and there are a lot of people who don't want to participate. That's why we're asking you to, if you, for instance, I'm going to one music fest this weekend. One music fest. Let's see. What day is one music fest minus AI? That's my Google search. If you could screenshot something like that, you can either tag it on your social media with minus AI. Like Rev said, you can shoot a video, tag it with minus AI. The idea is we want to track the minus AI hashtag to show that, no, companies, you don't speak for everybody. And so that's what we're really trying to do. And so we would love to have folks participate. We need people to participate. This is one of those things where, it's the horse, the rabbit is out of the gate, and we have to do something. We have to counter now. And so it's very, very important that people, it's so easy. It's crazy. I promise you. Putting your Google search, just as simple as putting minus AI, goes back to like just normal search, and yeah. And I'll give you one more piece of information I learned the other day. I think it's also really important to get counter arguments to this AI boom. I heard something from a Black woman on Instagram the other day. I thought was actually really interesting. What she was saying was that, there's so much percentage of the information we see on the internet is generated by AI. AI learns like from humans. Okay. So if so much is generated by AI, at some point AI is going to run out of information to learn from. So it may not necessarily get any smarter. And if it's already messing up, it ain't necessarily getting no smarter. So don't buy and believe everything you've heard about AI. You are more than qualified to determine whether or not you need it and whether or not it helps you. Don't let folks shove stuff down your throat, because it's not that serious. It's just not.
Yeah,
Well,
I just wanted to jump in real quick and say I love this campaign. I'm 10 toes down. Y'all already know. In fact, it's actually a part of my signature for my work email. So I have my hashtag no more data centers and hashtag minus AI. And I give a brief explanation and example. What is the weather in Haiti minus AI? That is my signature. And I think, like you all said, it's a simple step that we can take. Because AI is dangerous. It is. The more I learn about it, the more nervous I get. You talked about the point, Lindsay, about the historical data, and if you think about where we are in this country right now, where the person in charge in the White House is regulating, trampling over museums. He is taking to task colleges and universities on what they can teach, what history is learned. So if you think about where we are now at this point in this country's history, and at the same time, this AI boom that's happening, that is a perfect storm to, in some ways, rewrite history. And if we're going to continue to, so look, we already don't get a fair shake in history. Let's talk about that. They
Right.
already don't want to talk. Look, some people don't even know the South lost. Let's just start there, right? Let alone going to acknowledge that it was, the Black soldiers who came in and saved their behinds. Nobody's going to talk about that. And so if we continue to let AI continue to do what it does, we potentially can be erased from history. And if we think about the mindset of people who already don't see our humanity, already don't recognize our contributions to this country, that is dangerous. And that is going to fuel more discrimination, more hate, and more othering of us, our accomplishments, and our abilities. And so this is very, very dangerous. I'm like you, Lindsay. I hear a lot of people say, well, it's here. We got to do something. So yes, it is here. But I am still personally trying to struggle to find a balance between, yes, it's here. I don't necessarily want our people to be left behind, but I don't think it's a lot that they are going to be left behind on. So I've got to get some more information about that. So I have a counter argument when I hear people say that. But for now, I'm telling everybody and their mama and their cousin, their cats and their dogs, minus AI. We have all got to get into that, be serious about that, and scream that as loud as we can, because we need to slow down the progression of AI for all the reasons that you all just mentioned.
artificial intelligence is what AI stands for. But the reality is, beloveds, it isn't a brain. It doesn't think. It calculates. And sometimes those calculations are wrong. And when we put that in the hands of automation, or put it in the sphere of automation, then it really can become a problem. One, you've got an estimated, I believe they said it's like 300,000 jobs that they're looking at. They're looking at being lost because of AI automation. But also, what happens when that calculation is wrong?
Thank you.
What happens when that calculation is off? And you're relying on artificial intelligence or AI. What happens when we can't think past artificial intelligence to make the necessary corrections? And as we go generation to generation, and if we allow for, well, yeah, we ain't gonna last generation to generation with artificial intelligence. They're gonna drink up our damn water. So we gonna be fighting each other. But if we were to last through generations, and we've got artificial intelligence, what is it gonna say for the mental capacity for our next generations?
Mm.
What does the world look like for them? And they can paint a pretty picture of robots doing everything, and we don't have to really do a whole lot. But how satisfying is that really? And should we be that dependent on artificial calculations, which can go wrong? Liz, I saw you get ready to say something, and I stopped you, or you stopped.
No
What you
worries. I
got?
just really quickly wanted to say, evolution is a thing, but devolution is also a thing. And so there is a possibility for us to get worse and to not get better and lose our mental capacities. We've said that already. And one more thing, Rev, I think you said is really important as well, is like, okay, so what if they build the data center and they ended up not needing it? So now you just got a big old data center sitting on some land that ain't nobody using it. You can't farm on it, you can't live on it, and it's providing no benefit. So again, like, don't believe everything that you hear and see about AI. That's all I wanted to say.
But I mean, it's a bubble. We're experiencing, just like we experienced with the mortgage crisis. That was a bubble, and it looked all pretty and it looked all good, and everybody ran to it, and then it burst, and people got hurt. I'm scared of this bubble though, because that bubble with the mortgage crisis, it had everything to do economically. It had everything to do with land development, but it wasn't taking as much resources. This particular bubble, however, is an existential threat, period. It is not sustainable, beloveds, and we cannot survive without our natural resources. And this uses our natural resources astronomically. We can't survive with data centers in the way that they are right now. Period. I don't want to add anything else on that. I don't want to put another term for it. I want to make it as plain as I can. I'll say it one more time. We cannot survive with the model being the way it is for these data centers and AI. It's going to come to a point where we either kill each other off because we're at war for resources, or the data centers or AI kills us off because it's used all our resources. Period. And I hate to be that one that brings the doom and gloom to the conversation, but I have to speak reality. Reality is we need natural resources in order for us to live. And we cannot compete with data centers when it comes down to the consumption of our natural resources. And so if we continue this boom, in the United States, there are over 2,000 data centers. In the rest of the world combined, there are about 1,200, 1,300 data centers.
Come on, son. America be tripping. Sorry. We be doing the most all the time.
America has said that this is our new industry. That's what America has said. This is our new industry. This is our new economic driver. And nobody has, your public service commission, your city council members, your planning and zoning, and even your elected officials who sit in the federal and state. Nobody has thought about the fact that we can't compete with data centers when it comes down to our natural resources. I don't know if they're thinking there's going to be some pie in the sky and something's going to come and save us. As a wise woman named Wanda Mosley has talked to me about before, they think that some unnatural weather disaster is going to come and dump all the water that we need to replace the water that we've lost.
No.
When it has done that in times past, Lindsay and Wanda, we weren't using nearly as much water as we use now. And that's still a chance move. It's a chance move. I mean, really, we're taking chances. We're thinking that all of a sudden there's going to be this unnatural weather disaster that's going to come and save us again. It's a chance move because it's not guaranteed that it's gonna happen.
But is that what we want? Destruction comes with that.
Right. I was going to say all the aftermath of that. We don't want that.
No.
Their home
All of it.
is disturbed.
All of it.
Because listen, water will reshape the landscape when it comes that heavy. So there's the benefit of getting more water in our aquifers and our reservoirs and all of that, but it's going to reshape the whole landscape. It can take houses with it in the process. So is that what we want? Yeah, I'm with you. This is crazy.
Might take the data center.
You say what?
Might take the data center too. These hurricanes you waiting on to replenish our water. Like, who does that? Come on now.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I'm just leaning back, Lindsay, into what you said. There has not been a whole lot of emphasis on strategically thinking about these data centers. And people are just operating off of the speculation that it's going to make you rich.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result, they're making decisions that they don't even understand may even take us out.
Yep.
Nobody's, I don't, that my whole thing with AI and data centers, not just the fact that it's being built out at astronomical rates and we're suffering as a result, but my whole thing about it ultimately is nobody has taken the time to really study the cumulative damages for AI. And it's all because corporations are considered humans.
Say that again.
And they are driving this data center foolishness.
Yeah. And it's a race in some instances too, right? Google wants to get theirs up before X. They want to get theirs up before Microsoft. They want, that's what it is. And anytime we see millionaires and billionaires competing against each other, we know it's not good for us.
Never.
There is no trickle down. There is no benefit. It means trouble for all of us. And so as people are doing their own independent research about these data centers and they see who the owners are, understand there are no benefits for us. They do not care about us. Artificial intelligence, by its nature, erases us. And so that's why we got to erase it, minus AI. Get in the campaign.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Wanda, you better go ahead. Well done.
Sharon, I sure hope you recording this and heard that so we can keep playing it back. That's our promo right there. Listen, this has been an excellent conversation, y'all. I am thoroughly pleased with this conversation. However, I want to make sure that this conversation has action behind it. So we want to put up one more time the barcode for you, the QR code, excuse me, for you to scan. Join us in our Minus AI campaign. Again, this is a manufactured demand. We can do something about it. Let us vote. Let us vote not only at the ballot box, but let us vote to not use AI by using Minus AI when we do our data searches. If we can get 12 million people to stop using AI and show evidence of it, we've got a sample size for society. And we can go in and we can ask these corporations, we can ask our government officials to put policy in place that allows for us to opt into using AI versus opt out of using AI. And if we do that, we can drive the demand for these AI data centers down and hopefully save ourselves. As always, I offer to you love, peace, and light.
Bye, y'all.